So this morning, one of the people that we get to baptize is Heather. Heather's been in our group now for a little over a year, I think. It's been some time. It's been great getting to watch her come around, and she didn't want to public speak into the mic to read her testimony, so I get to do that for us this morning. So these are Heather's words. Before I had a relationship with Christ, I battled with depression, anxiety, and not knowing my self-worth. I spent more energy running after the things of this world I thought would bring me happiness, love, and self-worth. I ended up more broken and depressed, not fully understanding why I continued to feel something missing. At one dark point, I finally prayed. I really prayed that God would forgive me of all my sins. I confessed that I need Him, and I felt at peace for the first time in my life. I didn't understand what it truly meant to have a relationship with Jesus, though, and thought going to church on Sundays and being involved with church events was enough. It wasn't. I turned away from God for over 10 years. Finally, after months of being asked and invited to Mill City and community group, I came and experienced that group. I felt welcomed, not judged. I felt truly loved. I realized I had never truly decided to follow Jesus and have the relationship that He desired to have with His children. I now know my worth and do not desire the same things that I was chasing after before. And that's why we get to baptize this morning.
Wow, this is intimidating. If you were all kids, I could speak to you a lot better than adults. But good morning. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kate. I've written and rewritten this testimony about a dozen times because I can't seem to find the words to describe what a complete change my life has had while also not talking for 3 hours. I promise I only kept it to an hour, but I'll start off by sharing a bit about how we started coming to Mill City, because I had a very limited understanding of the Bible or who Jesus was until we started coming here. After becoming friends with the Garcias, we got an invite from Phoebe to attend the anniversary service a couple of years ago. I thought she meant it was her wedding anniversary, so I told my husband Alex we definitely needed to go to celebrate them. They even were serving a whole lunch to everyone. Unbeknownst to me, Phoebe was talking about Mill City's anniversary. God knew a free lunch and the suspected celebrating of friends would get me in the door, and it worked. The past couple of years, Alex and I came to Mill City and went to community group, but I still never really dove into the Bible or pursued learning about Jesus. I was afraid to ask questions because I felt like everyone knew more than me. I thought I was a believer this whole time, but now seeing how I truly am one now, I realized I wasn't one back then. Last Easter, I fell into a faith crisis where I questioned everything and realized I was saying that I believed in things that I never really took the time to understand. I frankly didn't believe, or thought I didn't believe, in God, and started to think that if I didn't believe in God, I wasn't really missing out on anything. Why would I believe in someone who wouldn't take my anxiety or depression away? Why would I believe in someone who allowed me to be let down by people? I went through the entire year partly not believing in God, and partly being unimaginably angry with Him for situations I went through. My heart was hardened at every thought relating to religion, faith, Jesus, etc. If Alex was listening to songs that we play here on Sundays, I would get visibly and physically angry with him. Sorry, Matt, I love the music now. Our daughter dances to it. We listen to it all the time. But for a while, I couldn't listen to it. I even started regretting naming our daughter Evangeline because it reminded me of something I hated or didn't believe in. I didn't step foot in this building for an entire year and had no plans of coming back. Fast forward to February of this year when two very special friends of ours came over to meet our son Micah. They had a very honest and raw conversation that stuck with me for weeks. I kept thinking back to that conversation, and the rest of my story can only be explained by the Holy Spirit. I don't have a specific day I felt different, but all I can say is that from February to now, I'm a different person because of Jesus and his grace. I have no question in my mind that Jesus died for my sins, and it's because of him that I'm saved. Before February, it wasn't even a question whether I'd be here on Sunday. It was always a no. Before February, I couldn't hear the word Jesus or God or hear any worship music without getting angry. Before February, I didn't care where I'd spend eternity, and I didn't even know if I believed in heaven. I had no hope and little joy. I was battling severe postpartum depression and anxiety, and I felt like simply making it to the next day was a challenge I didn't know I could face. Oh, this is a lot harder than I thought it'd be. I don't even recognize that person anymore. I used to roll my eyes at testimonies with these drastic stories, and while mine isn't a single day of change, it's a relatively short time span that my life has been completely changed. I would never have guessed that my testimony would be one my former self would have rolled her eyes at. If you would have told me at any point from last April to this April that I would be praying with my daughter and husband at bedtime, listening to worship music all day long, reading my daughter stories from her kids' Bible, getting excited when she said Jesus for the first time, which was the cutest thing ever, or wanting nothing more for my children than for them to know a life with Jesus, I would have laughed out loud. I know Jesus is the reason for all of this, but I also believe he put certain people in my life to point me towards him. I have the most patient husband in the world who never gave up on me. I genuinely don't know if I would be living today if it weren't for him. There are so many other people, like our community group, friends and family, the pastors here, who I have no doubt were put into my life to point me towards Jesus. I'll never be able to thank them all enough. I will never be able to wrap my head around how our pastors prayed for me in my heart to know Jesus for a whole year. They noticed when I came back for the first time in April, and even when I started smiling when they said good morning to me, which just so happened to be right before I decided I wanted to be baptized. That's not a coincidence. I have so much more to learn, and I'm so excited to keep learning, because this is just the beginning of my walk as a Christian. Through faith and grace, I'm so honored to now be a follower of Jesus today, every day after.